So, let me see what we can find here in the news. I've been rambling on. A rented golf cart impounded after driven erratically near town square. A rented golf cart was impounded after it was being driven erratically near a town square in the Villages. A 2017 Yamaha golf cart from the Villages Golf Cars attracted the attention of law enforcement shortly before 3 a.m. Good Lord, who in hell stays up at 3 a.m. around here? Tuesday, when 3 people were traveling with one of the occupants hanging off the back of the golf cart. Visitors, guarantee you. According to the incident report of Blade Lake Police Department, a traffic stop was initiated in front of the Jalisco restaurant on Main Street in Spanish Springs. Spanish Springs area seems to have more and more problems up there as years go by. That's literally across the street from the historical area of the Villages. One of the occupants of the golf cart told police the rental agreement had blown out of the golf cart. Another one of the golf cart's occupants, 29-year-old Jessica Ambrose, who lives in the Oak Meadows. Oak Meadows is one of the family areas of the Villages. In other words, you can live there full time with young children. A lot of people don't know that about the Villages, but there's 4, maybe 5 areas. I know there's 4. I've got the name. I did a video on the names of them. So if you're interested in buying a home in the Villages and you see something that looks like it's below market value, and let's say it's got a village that you don't really recognize that name, and make sure you talk to a realtor and make sure that it's where it is, if it's a family area. Because you may not be interested in living in that area, and you may not be able to. I don't know the rules about that now. Used to, in order to own a home in there, you had to work for the Villages, and you had children, and that's what those areas were set up for, was employees of the Villages, and they needed a place to live. I don't know if those rules still apply. Just make sure you ask. She was found to be in possession of a non-valid Florida license. It was seized by police. I know people's going to say, if you don't need a driver's license to operate a golf cart in Florida, how do they arrest you? Well, I'm not sure exactly how that law works, but I can tell you this. If you get picked up for drunk driving and your license gets suspended, that law says you are not allowed to operate a motorized vehicle on a public thoroughfare for however long that suspension is. That includes a golf cart. You cannot, it's a motorized vehicle. You cannot operate it. I don't know what her situation was here, but apparently her license was suspended and she was operating the golf cart. And it was a Florida license, so she comes under this Florida law. Ambrose had been arrested in August after fleeing a Walmart with a shopping cart full of stolen groceries in December. Well, they learn their lessons so fast, don't they? In December, Ambrose was sentenced to 30 days in the Lake County Jail on a grand theft charge. She had been arrested in July of 2018 at Target at Rolling Acres Plaza in the Villages and accused of taking video games and Nintendo Switch controllers. A new hotel will be constructed near Interstate 75 in Wildwood thanks to the surging construction in the southern end of the Villages. NAI RealVest recently closed on the $825,000 sale of 2.7 acres on County Road 229 and State Road 44, just east of Interstate I-75 interchange in Wildwood. I'm skipping through here. MPH Hotels Incorporated, helmed by Michael P. Holtz, a hotel developer operator based in St. Petersburg, purchased a property to build a 92-room Holiday Inn Express. Ground will be broken later this month. The hotel is scheduled to open in 2020. A villager found himself behind bars early Tuesday morning after a nasty battle with his lady friend at a grocery store. A Marion County Sheriff's deputy was called to the parking lot of the Publix at 8780 Southeast Mulberry Lane, and when he arrived, a woman told him she had been struck in the face by 60-year-old Ted Reese Stevenson, a sheriff's office report states. A woman said that they had been arguing about her cell phone, and Stevenson had ordered her to step out of the vehicle. She claimed he then struck her in the face with a closed fist as she attempted to exit the vehicle, the report says, adding that the woman's face was bleeding and her lip was swollen. The woman told deputy that she doesn't live with Stevenson in his village of Piedmont residence. Man, Piedmont's a beautiful area. I sometimes wonder what's the deal. He looks like a drunk. I mean, I'll just say it the way it is. Look at this guy. Nasty looking, right? Not your typical villager right there. But it is what it is. I didn't pick him. A villager from New York ordered into anger management after attack at dog park. Kenneth Frischman Redland, 69, of the village of Osceola Hills, and Soaring Eagle, was arrested April 14th at the Atlas Canine Dog Park on Moyer Loop in the village of Pine Ridge. He had faced a felony charge of battery on a person over age 65. Frustrated residents appealed Thursday afternoon to Community Development District 10, that's my district, supervisors about deed restriction enforcement here in Florida's friendliest hometown. Ronald Hantz of the village of Osceola Hills, oh, that's over there again. I'll tell you what, I don't know what's going on in Osceola Hills, but I've read quite a few problems over there that goes all the way back to a couple's drug addict son that trashed their house a couple of times. Neighbors called the police on the same guy. He wasn't like a teenage kid. This was like a 30 or 40-year-old drug addict son. And anyway, I haven't heard anything about that for a while. Then there was another guy, seems to me from Osceola Hills over there, that was hanging around the rec center, hiding behind a bush, and he would jump out and scare people as they was trying to walk in and out of the rec center. I don't know what was going on there. And now here's the second report today of problems in Osceola Hills. I don't get it. I've been in Osceola Hills. It's gorgeous over there. Over there is fairly expensive homes, so I don't know. Ronald Hantz of the village of Osceola Hills said that one or two people are making more than 100 people unhappy. I can relate to that. He said those reporting deed restriction violations should be required to give their names. Oh, that's horseshit. Sorry. People just want to cause problems. That just escalates the problems, because once you know who turns you in, you're going to be mad at them forever. You're going to argue with them forever, and that's just why the whole idea of you not knowing. You don't need to know. Because I guarantee you, if I was your neighbor and I walked over there in a calm fashion and said, hey, Bob, George, John, whatever your name is, you got this big statue out here in your front yard that's a violation of deed restriction, and I don't like it. For whatever reason, I just don't like it. I'd like for you to move it. Move it to the backyard or someplace where I don't have to look at it. Right away, you're going to be in a defensive position. You're going to start in on me. And it's going to end up with you probably telling me that I need to stay in my own yard and mind my own business. That's what you're going to say. So these anonymous complaints gets the village deed enforcement agency to get into it, and you never know who it was that did the complaining. I mean, I'm just saying. So actually, and I'm probably one of the few people around here that'll tell you, I am all for the anonymous complaint, period. Because you're better off not knowing. The neighborhood is happier that you don't know. But I will say this, on the other side of that fence, I'm ranting here over something that really doesn't really mean that much. I don't believe that any anonymous complaint about whatever it is should come from anybody other than the people that live in that same district. In other words, I live in District 10. And let's say somebody up at District 3 or 4, for example, which is way up north. And their district rules can also be different than what mine are. But let's say I do something here that they tried to do in their district but they were refused. They said, no, you can't do that here. So they come down here looking at new homes when this area was being built. They come down here just nibbling around. People do that all the time. Golf cart ride. Let's go look at the new houses. And they see that I done something. The lady right away said, oh, hey, no, that ain't going to happen. I tried doing that 5 years ago, and they told me I couldn't do it. So by God, he's not going to do it. So she goes and makes an anonymous complaint. Now, I think that's wrong. Because, first of all, she probably don't even know what my deed restrictions are at all. All she knows was, or he, is that they said they couldn't do what it is that they're complaining about. And so they're going to make sure I can't do it either. And I think that's wrong. I don't think somebody in District 3 should be allowed to make an anonymous complaint about something going on in District 7 when they don't even live there. So my only complaints here should be basically in my area, my neighbors. If I'm doing something they don't appreciate, just make an anonymous complaint. I'm not going to whine about it. That's the way the system works. Or for that matter, you could make a little note or whatever in the middle of the night and stick it on my garage door, and I'll get up and I'll see that letter and I go, what the heck's that? And I'll open it up and somebody can leave a letter that don't even have to sign it and say, hey, I noticed this and I don't want to make an anonymous complaint, but I think you need to take care of this problem. And if I think they're right, because I do have a copy of the deed restrictions and I will read it, but if I think they're right, I'll do something about it. And I don't think every property here, truthfully, is in compliance with our deed restriction to start with. I don't think there's a property here that's in total compliance of deed restriction. But in most cases, in my area anyway, we don't really care. I mean, as long as you ain't trying to paint your house John Deere green, or you're not trying to paint your driveway, purple, you know what I'm getting at? Goofy stuff like that. Most of us here that I've noticed, they just don't really care. Live and let live. Because you drive around our neighborhood, everything looks copacetic. Everything looks very clean. Everything looks very nice. Bushes are trimmed, trees are trimmed, grass is mowed. Everything's edged like it's supposed to be. Now that's deed restriction in the front anyway. Everything's got to be edged. And I know that there's some property here where they don't edge them. So right away, that property is out of compliance. And somebody could actually make a complaint saying, that guy mows his yard, he's got a nice yard, but he doesn't edge it. And they would come down and take pictures, and then they'd probably tell him, your property's out of compliance, you got to bring in compliance. Personally, I don't care. As long as the yard's mowed and everything looks good, and apparently nobody else cares either, because as far as I know, there's never been a complaint around here. But I will tell you, I have seen some golf carts go through, and I have seen some cars go through, and I don't know who they are, and they'll stop in the middle of the road for some reason and take pictures. And there's no house for sale. And I don't know what the hell they're taking pictures of. They have that right. They're in the street. They can take pictures of anything they want. Because I go through that a lot with my video channel. People seem to think they can tell me what I can take a picture of and what I can't. And I can tell you, according to the FAA, Part 107, you can never trespass on anybody's property from the air. That's a fact. I can fly a drone over your house, over your property, as long as I'm not, peeking through your window, doing weird stuff like that. But basically, if I'm doing a video of a neighborhood, so to speak, and I fly 100 feet up in the air, which is way above your houses, and I just kind of fly around the neighborhood and show them what a neighborhood looks like, I've had some people tell me that I can't do that. Yes, I can. And I've had some people tell me that they have to give me a signed release to be able to put that on my channel. No, I don't. I mean, I don't know where they get some of this idea of stuff. Because when you walk through Disney World to see all these people taking pictures, do you run up to them and tell them they can't put you on their... It's goofy. And I try to ignore these people. But sometimes it really gets on my nerves when people try to tell me what I can and can't do. And I've studied it. I know what I can do and what I can't do. And then you hear these other people, well, I'll go talk to my lawyer. The odds are they don't have a lawyer anyway. But go, spend your money. Lawyer's not going to talk to you for nothing anyway. Give him $500 and talk to him. I don't care what you tell him, but I'll just give you a little clue. when it comes to drone and flying and where you can fly and where you can't fly and all that kind of stuff. FAA, Part 107. Read it. Oh, I think I see a picture here of what they're complaining about. It's a typical Florida look that's, that they try to debunk all the time. I don't like it either. I'm not sure I would go to the problem or of complaining. That's such a headache. Come on, where's that picture at? I was just looking at it. Or my Wi-Fi. I just used my data. Wi-Fi here is, in the wintertime, you guys will find out when you come down here in the wintertime when all the snowbirds show up, your Wi-Fi and everything is so slow. It's so screwed up. I've been to Spectrum and I've told them about it, and they just have this whole attitude of, what do you want me to do about it? I've got Comcast, we've talked to them about it, and the only thing they say is, well, maybe we need to send a technician out there and check it and find out why it's running so slow. That's also a $65 charge for them to come out. I was amazed, why am I paying them to come out and service their stuff? It isn't my stuff I'm asking them to work on. If it was my Wi-Fi, you know what I'm saying? If I owned it all, then I would tell them, come and look at it. But for some reason, as customers go, we're off base. We're not demanding enough stuff. It's their Wi-Fi. They install it. It's their wiring, their cable box out here. It ain't mine. But yet if I have trouble with it and they come out and look at it, I got to pay $65 for them to come here and look at it. I don't care about subcontractors. It's not my problem. So that's why I've kind of went to streaming. I've done away with cable because I'm tired of all that kind of stuff. Tired of that being so-called customer service. And I'm really getting that way about cell phones too. There is no customer service on cell phones. Don't let them kid you. There is no customer service on a cell phone. You have a problem with a cell phone, you call Verizon or whoever, unless it's brand new, they're going to tell you, oh, well, what kind of phone do you have? Well, I got a Samsung or I got an LG. Oh, you have to get a hold of LG. And that's their phone, and they'll take care of that problem for you. Whatever happened to the days where when you signed up for a 2-year contract, they gave you a brand new phone. You turn it this way. Can I turn it this way? Yeah, I can. I'm trying to get you a picture of this front yard here so you kind of see what they're talking about. I guess I shouldn't laugh. I think it's funny. Okay, here we go. Go on. Focus. There it is. See that front yard? See all them pink flamingos? And she's got them dressed up too with handkerchiefs and I don't know what's all on their hats. Yeah. Well, what can I tell you? That is out of compliance. It is. You're not allowed to have any yard decorations, at least in the front yard. I know a lot of people that's got decorations in their backyard and they've had them for years and they've never had a problem. So I've come to the conclusion is out of sight, out of mind. Villagers warned about scammers posing as Seco energy inspectors. Yeah, we have scammers here, just like anything else. Villager could face fines for lights that could light up a football field. Yeah, I've seen a few of those. Here, we don't seem to have that problem. But the motion detector lights? There's some people that, my God, it's like, I don't know what they're scared of. But they've got some of these LED lights, motion detectors, but they're big. And they'll have, like on the corner of the house, you know how the house is like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, like that. They'll put one of them big LEDs here, pointing that way, and then on the other corner here, pointing that way. Here's the problem. The houses here are fairly close together. They just are. And I've seen where those things come on at night, not in my neighborhood, or at least around me, and one of them lights is lighting up the guy's house next door. And I don't know if their bedroom's right there or whatever, but I just look at that thinking, once again, commonsensical stuff, right? It's like, does a guy ever walk outside the house and see, where them lights are shining? Because that's like, I think that's rude. But I've got a motion detector light right here on my back door. but it points straight down at the little concrete pad by the back door. And I went out and checked it several times. It doesn't go in a neighbor's yard. It doesn't go past my hedges. And so some of these people, they got these lights just pointed right at in their yard. And you know, if they're the real bright kind, they can be a problem. They can be really intrusive. They could go into a person's bedroom, you know, where it goes through the blinds. And yeah, I just don't think some people think. So apparently, this person had been warned, or the neighbors talked to him, and they probably said, go home and leave me alone. And so they've turned him in. You want me to read it? Did you say yeah? Okay. A village's homeowner could face fines for bright lights that are powerful enough to light up a football field. A complaint was received July 25th about the bright lights at a home of Charles Anderson, located at 625 Wyber Lane in the Callahan Villas. Oh my God, you're not going to believe it. In the village of Osceola Hills. Man, I don't know what's going on over there at Osceola Hills, but they must have every derelict in the world living over there. The complaint sufficiently was about the exterior motion detector lights that have been shining directly into a neighbor's home. And I've seen that. I have actually seen that at different places. Mostly where I see those motion detector lights where they really are intrusive to neighbors is in the patio villa areas. I don't know if you know what a patio villa is. I've got video of them. But some of the patio villas are literally very, very close. Very close. So if you put up a light, it's to me, unless you put it in the very right spot, it'd be almost impossible to keep that light from shining on your neighbor's house. And on patio villas, you know, most of the bedrooms are in the same areas of each patio villa. So that person should know where his neighbor's bedrooms are and not put a light there. Just simply not put a light there. And that would be at the back of the villa. So he's got these lights in the back of the villa back there for some reason. And in the back of all the villas, usually they butt like this. Here's one villa on this side, here's a villa on this side. The bedrooms on this one will be back here. Bedrooms on this one will be back here. But between the villas, in some areas, that's the drainage area. That's your air conditioners always usually behind the villas. There's some of the new ones, the air conditioners next to the side walls of the villa. But in a lot of the older areas, like mine was, the air conditioner's in the back, so you can't see it. And then there's a little drainage ditch back there, so on a very, very, very hard rain, that's where all the water goes. It keeps everything from flooding. I don't know that's where this is at, but let's see what we got here. A public hearing about the lights was conducted Thursday afternoon before the Community Development District Board 10. Anderson claimed the lights at his patio villa, what'd I tell you, are shaded, but also confessed they were bright enough to light up a football field. He later said the lights are frosted. What difference does it make, dude? If it's shining in your neighbor's bedroom and he's talking to you about it, just point him a different direction or point him more to the ground or something. I don't get it. Hey, your lights are shining in my bedroom at night and I can't sleep. Oh, but they're frosted. Whatever. Anderson testified about the situation during the public hearing. Me and my neighbor don't get along. I have the lights so the dog can go poop at night in the back of my home. You're serious. I have no words. He said he bought the lights for $150 at Home Depot. He said he mounted the lights according to the manufacturer's recommendations. What's that got to do with anything? You're making it sound like the manufacturer somehow is responsible for your neighbor, the lights shining in your neighbor's bedroom. The lights are perfectly legal. Well, maybe they are, maybe they're not. The light itself might be legal, but the way you got it mounted may not be legal. The board didn't see it that way. In this case, here, sir, the problem is your lighting is a nuisance, said CDD 10 board chairman Don Wiley. Don Wiley. I know that guy from somewhere. Anderson had no answer for that. They're lying, he said, of the complaint. Candace Dennis of Community Standards offered that if the lights were pointed directly downward, it could solve the compliance problem, as the light would be shining within Anderson's property line. That suggestion wasn't palatable for Anderson. The board found him in violation of deed compliance and gave him 3 days to correct the problem. If he does not bring the property into compliance, he will face a $50 fine followed by daily fines of $25. If the fines reach $1,500, the case will be turned over to district council to seek all available remedies that could include a lien or a lawsuit. I just don't understand it. Why they put up such a fight over such silly problems that can be taken care of, like he was just saying, and then like I said, you just point the lights down more toward the ground. I mean, I can't believe that you worry about your dog taking a poop in a daylight more than your neighbor. I just don't get some people. I really don't. I just think there's some people that's... I have problem with a couple of my neighbors. I just don't like them. I stay away from them. I don't talk to them. Nothing. I don't throw rocks at them. I don't do any of that stuff. I just try to avoid them at all possible costs. I just stay away from them because I just think that's just the best thing to do when you get to be our age. If something's a problem, just stay away from it. And I do. So in this case, this happens all the time, though. You people should know this, that elderly people down here get into some serious arguing and carrying on over silly crap. And it's just like up there around Spanish Springs. That area up there is having more and more problems. The people up there will defend it. But I know a lot of people that live up there, they see the problems happening. They know what's happening. And they don't like it either. And some of those people are selling them homes up there and moving down to the newer area to get away from those problems up there. Gosh, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen 20 years from now in my own neighborhood. A homeless person was arrested after allegedly stealing a bicycle from a residence on the historic side of the Villages. An unresponsive female who had been riding a bicycle was found shortly after 1 p.m. Monday near the U.S. Post Office on the historic side of the Villages, according to an arrest report from Lady Lake Police Department. A villager who has come to be known as the Turkey Lady won't face prosecution after an unwanted visit to a man's home in the Villages. Last week in Lake County Court, the prosecutor's office announced that 69-year-old Irene Leonhard will not be prosecuted on a charge of trespassing following her November 4 arrest at a home on Aloha Way on the historic side of the Villages. In an announcement of no information in the case, the prosecutor's office indicated that the case was being resolved without prosecution. Leonhard was dressed as a turkey when she was arrested in 2017 after she went to Belk at La Plaza Grande in the Villages and attempted to steal $1,497 worth of merchandise. After the arrest, this is weird, she penned a letter to the editor claiming she'd been deserted by her fellow Red Hatters. I don't know. Weird, goofy stuff. A villager jailed since a golf cart DUI arrest in September is facing additional legal woes. Jack Gruzmark, 68, of the village of Della Vista is, again, up by Spanish Springs area, remains lodged without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center after his second drunk driving arrest in as many years. Gruzmark is also being sued by a fellow villager whose pickup truck was damaged when it was struck by Gruzmark's red atomic golf cart at the gate at Morris Boulevard in El Camino Real. That gate is right there pretty close to the village's hospital. Very busy gate. I worked that gate several times. Not a fun gate to work. Anyway, another drunk golf cart driver. A Temple Shalom rabbi to lose driver's license as a result of a DUI arrest. Villager who drank martini while golfing arrested on golf cart DUI. He don't look typical for your drunk driver. He don't look typical at all. He's very clean cut. He doesn't look the type at all. I'm saying that this might have been, come on, you know. Villager who said he drank a martini while golfing, and trust me when I tell you, drinking a beer or two while playing 18 holes of golf or whatever is not unusual around here. I'm not defending drinking and driving. I'm not. I'm just telling you that's the lifestyle. A woman saw 62-year-old John Privatera at 6:39 p.m. Sunday along the golf cart path near Buena Vista Boulevard and Odell Circle, and he appeared to be ill, according to an arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but Privatera, who lives on the historic side of the villages, told the woman he was okay and just had too much to drink, the report said. He told her he just wanted to lay down in the bushes for a while and rest. Oh, I wouldn't have said that. I simply said, I'm okay, I'm just feeling a little sick, and I'd let it go at that. EMS arrives on the scene, evaluated him. I wonder who called EMS. Maybe the cop did. Deputy responded to the scene and found that key was still in the ignition of his red club car, golf cart. The Massachusetts native told the deputy he had breakfast at Bob Evans that morning, but had nothing else to eat the rest of the day. He said he spent the day at the Mallory Championship golf course and had one vodka martini while golfing. Privatera struggled through field sobriety exercises, and when asked to recite the alphabet, he threw his hand up in the air and said, "I can't do that." Well, there you go. I'm sorry. Everybody in the world, if you was born in America, you can do the alphabet. You can count from 1 to 10. I'm sorry. I mean, the average idiot can do that. So when you say I can't do that, but I will say this on some of these sobriety checks, and I'm not an expert by any means, but I do question some of it sometimes when they've got and I've seen this in the paper, when they catch a 92-year-old guy coming out of a bar somewhere. Usually it's Lake Sumter, and usually it's City Fire. And he gets in a golf cart. And there's always cops running around, you know, and they pull the guy over for whatever reason. You know, it's called probable cause. Well, you didn't use your turn signal when you made that right turn back there at the stoplight. It's probable cause. So they pull him over in a parking lot somewhere in a golf cart. And they tell the guy, "I'm going to do field sobriety tests on you." Well, now, I question that right there. The guy's 90 years old. And I'm using this as an example because I've actually seen these reports. A 90-year-old lady, a 92-year-old guy, an 88-year-old lady. These people may have had, at that age, may have had knee surgery, knee replacement, hip replacements. They may have all kinds of back issues. I have back issues. Some people I know that come down here have serious back issues, and I know this for facts. They're fused, or they have a big rod where they can't really bend over. Things of this nature, and yet they want you to tilt your head back, put your hands out, touch your nose. You know the process, right? I can see where if somebody had serious back issues, they might have a problem doing that. And because they can't do that, technically, I guess the officer could arrest them for not performing the test correctly. Maybe they've got other things that they can do. I don't know, but usually it ends up this way. I'm going to play the cop. Well, I'm going to arrest you and charge you with what I see, and you can take all this other issues up with the judge. And they let it go at that. So they kind of like wash their hands off the whole thing. you can take it up with the judge. But the poor guy now goes to jail. He has to post a bond probably. He has to call somebody. Now he's got to hire an attorney. That's going to be some serious money. Go in front of a judge to show all this medical records he's going to have to come up with now. That he couldn't do these tests because of these medical issues he's got. And maybe the judge would even throw it out. But generally speaking, the judge won't. The judge will never take an opposite side of a police officer in most cases. He always takes their side no matter what the evidence shows. So you have to prove your innocence. The day in this country where, and I'm ranting again, ain't I? Innocent to proven guilty? Forget it. That's all I got to say. Until then, I'm going to get out of here. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I wasn't too long about it. I'm going to do some cutting on this video because I know it's too long. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. I'm going to have to get ready for a Thanksgiving dinner tonight. And I'll see you down here someday. When you come down, you'll see how beautiful this place is, how great it is to live. We'll just have fun. We'll drink a beer. We'll do something. Oh, another thing I want to throw in there is we have 3 squares with Christmas tree lightings. I'm not going to be going to none of them, so don't look for those videos for me. There's other people here that vlog. They'll probably be going down there and doing it. I'm not going to do it. I got tired of that a long time ago. I've been to every square at least twice for a Christmas tree lighting. It is a lot of entertainment. The idea of it is fun. If you've never been to one, you should go to one. But here in the last couple of years, in Lake Sumter and in Brownwood's where I'm close to, they've started this thing about selling tickets now for priority seating to the Christmas tree lighting, which has always been free. It's always been free to residents, always. But remember, it's open to the public. I don't know what the idea of the tickets are other than the fact that they can. You know, why are you selling tickets? Because they can. And even though I don't think it's right, and even though my opinion is that they should not do that, the facts of it is it makes no difference what I think. They're doing it because they can. And it's proof because whenever they do sell, this is the second year they've done it. This is not the first year. They did it last year. They sold out. I don't know how many tickets they sold this year for it. They sold out. So when you say that it's not right, well, they're a business and they're looking at what's happening. And we're selling tickets for, I don't know what the prices of them are. What is it, like $50 or $60 a person or something, or $200 for a table or something like that. And then you get a free drink with it. Big deal. But I guess I can go to my boss and say, this is a great idea. This is the second year now and we've sold out. I think next year we should double the amount of tickets we're going to sell. That makes logical sense to me for a business to do that. I don't like it, but I understand it. So with that being said, I'll get out of here because I know I'm going to get some comments about some things I said, but that's okay. I got pretty good sized shoulders. See you on the other side.